Good morning everyone, it's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today, it is Groom Rimuru's time to shine in the spotlight. We are going to test out and see how well he performs on a variety of different teams, including, his main team that he is meant to be on. But then a few others, just like we take every other unit. I've already talked about his kit in a different video, so we won't dwell too much on that. We're just going to jump into the Big Daddy damage test for him. So this is the team we're going to run. As always, Veldora, Milim, Hero, Leon, and Dark Shion to give him the Pierce, along with his Pierce resistance down. So without further ado, let's go ahead. I will see you guys when you're ready to launch his first ult, and then we'll move on from there. So see you guys soon. Alright, we are back for his initial ult damage showcase. So the only thing that we have going right now is a trait for 6% attack up. And that comes, I think, from Veldora or somebody else in the protection slot. So that's the only thing, 6% attack increase. So let's see how much damage we do just with his initial ult. Let's make sure that we can see the ult. I'm recording this a little bit ahead of schedule and we've already watched it, so let's make sure we can actually watch it. So let's go ahead and send it. Just walking up majestic and then throwing some engagement rings around or some wedding bands around which then explode. I think they could be like destructive disc. And then he's proposing to everybody. 14.7. That's not bad. He does have a little bit of an extra boost that we don't normally count on, but that's a pretty good start. Let's see what happens when he's fully boosted up. We'll be right back. Alright, we are back. We are fully boosted now, so our ult is 50% plus the 70% from Milim, and Rimuru has still the trait percent, light attack by 50, guaranteed crit, pierce rate by 96, and pierce power by 20, alongside the debuff of 30% on the spider. So let's see, we were at, 14 something, the first ult with just 6% ult, damage increase. Let's see what we hit here now with fully boosted, and we do 117k. Well, that's something. Yeah, that's higher than I thought it would be, guys. I'm going to be straight with you. That is higher than I expected it to be. Okay, so support unit, good DPS. He's carrying in his own right. Okay, let's move on to an actual fight now. All right, so now let's hop into the actual light team. This is like the 2 DPS strategy right here. So we've got Shion and Gazel for big damage, and then we've got the supports, right? So we're going to actually kind of try and use Rimuru in a damage scenario here instead of Gazel, but he's still here because he's still a fantastic light unit. And again, if you have Gazel and you're not really inclined to summon for these 3 units, I think you'll be fine running the old light meta. I don't foresee it changing too much. I mean, Leon's still good, you've got the hero, and Hinata's great. But let's go ahead and see what we're going to do here on Crucible 70 against Diablo, who has a bit higher defense, and so I believe our Pierce will hit a little bit harder alongside the resistance down. I don't think I've used the Pierce resistance down skill even from Ranga on the Diablo stage, so this will be a first for me as soon as we load in. Okay, so again, I want to highlight, I know I kind of went over it in his kind of introduction kit overview, but the power of his trait at 92. So we've got Gazel, we've got Dark Milim, and we have Earth Milim for that 11 points each of protection gauge, which generally puts us about here, right? A little more than halfway. But then Rimuru is getting 5 points at the start of every turn for the first 3 turns of battle. So now we're up here, and now these 3 cards right here puts us just shy of the protection meter. But because Rimuru does it for 2 more turns, turn 2, we're going to get the Shizu meter for free. And then, since we have in the back, we have Hero, who also has Space Rimuru attached, which is, 6 points of protection gauge every 3 turns, right? Because they're level 100. We're going to get a lot of protection gauge there, and then I also have Windmill on Leon, who also does the every 3 turns you get protection gauge. So if you combine all of these protection gauge support characters, I mean, your blue gauge is going to just start filling up really quick, and it's actually really hilarious to watch it happen. So let's go ahead and I don't want to build up. Well, see, that's not quite true. So let's do this. All right, let's send these 3 blues. Let's compare the damage, since we don't get a damage boost on. So 56, 46, and 4,000. Again, attack growth, 4-star sword, balance growth, like a 4-star awakened sword, and just a normal 6-star hammer, I guess. All right, so here we can look okay. So let's go ahead and use Shion's skill, which is 1 orange to 1 green, and you get a skill point increase by 20%. And then Rimuru is also a 1 orange to 1 green, but you get 15% green damage for 1 turn. And so this is going to be almost a full hand. So it's going to work out really well. We already have, like I said, we have full protection meter because of Rimuru's trait. And now on turn 2, I'm going to swap in the hero for Gazel, and I'm going to leave Shion in here. But just know that we could have a 3rd unit that would give us protection gauge on turn 3. So we're not going to use any Shizu right now because we've got a good hand. So let's go ahead and send this, and that puts us right here, right in the corner. And then we'll see how high it jumps up on turn 3 once that hits. 68 skill points coming back at us, 4,700 there, so 700 point increase from turn 1. And now, what does our protection gauge look like? It went from the corner to almost to... Wow. I mean, that's a lot of protection gauge right there. So now I have no qualms about using Shizu here, because we're going to make it back on a full 6-card send. And then some. Turn 3, let's go ahead and use the damage boost again. And then... So let's use the damage boost. Let's bring Gazel back in for the hero, just for funsies, because I want to pop his 2 skills right here. Not that they really matter too much, but they are helping us build up Shizu. Now we're at 95%, and I have no other points to use. So 95 is where we're going to sit. Let's send Rimuru last. This will get us... This won't get anyone's ult, technically, but we're still working towards it. So 71, 57, 46, definitely seeing a lot of different numbers right here. Pierce with 11.9, so it's really good. All right, we can get... I believe we can get his ult right here, and no one's going to die, so we'll be okay. All right. So what are we going to do here? We can do this, we can get his ult, and I'm pretty sure we can pretty safely kill. I don't really see a point in not being able to do it. So the Pierce is for 2 turns, right? And then the debuff is also for 2 turns. So technically, I could... Oh, my video's done. So technically we could do this, right? And we could do the Leon buff right now. And then if we don't kill him, then we're going to have the ult for next turn. So let's do the resistance and the light boost. Alright. And then we're going to actually go ahead and orb change, and we might just straight up kill him here. Because everyone's light, everyone's getting Pierce and light boosted, so it's going to look nasty now. We didn't use Shion's personal buff, but I think we'll be okay. So 8,300 right there. Shion's doing 12.8 and then 9.8 for Rimuru. And the final 200% hit does 13.7, but no Pierce, so we really hit that 5%. Really unfortunate. But he still has the Pierce debuff. We still have the ult boost from Shizu. We don't have the light boost anymore. We do have the trait, but we can use the light boost again. And therefore, we're not really missing out on too much besides the hero back here, but it's not really all that bad. Let's go ahead and send Rimuru. We're going to kill here, so we'll go ahead and watch it again since technically I'm recording this the following day. Alright. Throwing some wedding bands around. He's throwing wedding bands everywhere, but then he proposes to you? Like, I don't know, it's kind of slutty, don't you think, Rimuru? 43,000 with the Pierce, and only the light boost. Like, we could have had the hero crit as well, and that would have been a lot of damage right there. So, I mean, that's pretty good, guys. That's pretty good. Alright, let's move on to, I think, Conquest now. Okay, we're in Exorc Disaster. I know it's not, you know, the hardest thing in the world nowadays, but it is still Conquest, and you still will get some use out of it. So, right here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use Leon to swap out for Xion, since she doesn't have any orbs. And then we're going to use his orb change right here. Get a forehand of oranges before they get nerfed. And now, let's go ahead and send Rimuru first. Alright. Guard 36 and 43, and 47 on the 150. Okay. Alright, so now the oranges are debuffed, which is fine. Because, now on turn 3, I'm going to swap... let's see. I'm going to swap Gazel out. And we're going to use these three blues right here. We're going to get a full hand of greens. And you know what? I think we'll use the rewind. Yeah, we're going to use the rewind here just for funsies, because I want to build up the protection gauge, rewind, and then have a whole hand of oranges ready to send. Or a full hand of greens ready to send with the Shizu trait going. So right here, let's go ahead and boost up the green damage. Alright, that's one skill used. Now we're going to use Shizu. We're up to 85% Pierce. So now let's go ahead and send this. Pop, 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 pop. Alright, we've got another Shizu Protector. We've got 72 points coming. We almost have a Rimuru ult. We're going to be stunned on turn 3, though, which is going to be kind of unfortunate because I would have liked to use more skills, but it is what it is. I think we'll be okay. Based on this damage right here, we could kill him with normals for the rest of the fight, really. Like 10,000 right there, and we got a whole bunch of blues. We didn't miss any stuns, which is unfortunate. Alright. I mean, we might as well do this, huh? Get double protection meter going, 100 points. Okay, that's... I could have done without that. However, it's not really going to matter too much because... Let's see. We're gonna do... I mean, honestly, we could probably kill here. Like, no joke. We could probably kill. So let's bring Gazel back in for... Who do I use? Do I use Leon's buff or do I use the hero's buff? Let's use Leon's. No, we used Leon last time, so let's use the hero buff now. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and... We're not going to have a full hand anymore. Unfortunate, but I think we'll still be okay. Alright. So we've got 4 skill usage here. Nothing is stacked now, though. But Gazel has his buffs. Rimuru has the debuff going. We have double Shizu, so actually no, this will work out, because we can just use it again and get a full 6-card send, right? And it'll change its other remaining blue, and there we go. Alright, so let's see how this plays out. Can we kill him with normals? No ults. Yeah, oh, he's sobered. Oh, God. Okay. Okay, well, goodbye, Orc. No ults used, just normals that are boosted just a little bit, right? Just a tad. Okay, well, that wasn't very difficult. Let's try using Rimuru now as a support for not the light team. There are, 2 other major teams that run on greens that will benefit from both of his skills. So let's go test them out. Alright, so next up we're going to try Rimuru out as a support unit on the wind team. Primarily running on green orbs. Valentine is here, Cabby is here, so everybody knows that if you feed him green, he will make everything in your life happen. So we're going to make use of a full green hand, and we're going to showcase Rimuru's both his 15% damage boost and his 50% ult gauge boost on top of the Cabby boost on top of Valentine's damage boost, because all of those do stack together because they are very different buffs. So I do want to show that off here as well. So let's go ahead and dive into Battle 72 of Crucible, because all the other stages are against Sharks or they're against Cabby, who nerfs greens. So not really an ideal scenario to show off a unit who wants greens, right? So let's go ahead and jump in. And as soon as we load up, eventually, almost, here we go. Alright, so we're going to shoot for a hand where we have enough points to use all of the major like green boosts and have a full green hand with Cabby. So that might take a little bit of setup. Okay, so we're going to activate Cabby, who gives 150% to all gauges, right? So every green gives you 150% to your ult, to your skills, and to your protection gauge. So that's why we know Cabby is pretty broken still, because now we've got 150 boost on greens. Let's go ahead and use Valentine for her double orb change, which increases your gauge by 10%, which does not stack with Cabby, because they're both temporary buffs. One's for 1 turn, one's for 3 turns, but the 150, obviously much better than the 10, so that takes precedence. But let's go ahead and use Rimuru's orb change, which gives a 15% damage boost. Alright. Let's go ahead and use the 15% or the 50% ult gauge increase, and then let's also go ahead and heal, because our units are looking a little low right now, and it does increase green damage by 5% until the end of battle, so it's permanent. So once we activate all of these, I will show you the power of a full green hand, because we have 150%, we have 15% damage, we have another 5% damage because this is temporary and this is forever, therefore they stack on top of each other, so it's 20% green damage. And then because this is an all gauge increase and this is a specific gauge increase, this also stacks with the 150. So technically we're doing 20% extra damage on our greens, we're getting 150% boost to green and blue gauges, and then we're getting a 200% boost to our ult gauge, to our orange gauge. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in a unit that has no ult gauge, and two units that have no ult gauge, and we'll see what happens. So Hakuro is going to come in for Valentine, alright? And then the hero is going to come in for Milim. Alright, so, we're looking okay here. Again, everything is stacked up, so Rimuru, Hero, Hakuro, Hakuro. Alright, look at that. The hero had 0 ult gauge. Now she's over a full gauge. Hakuro, with 3 orbs, technically in a 6-card send, has 1 2/3 ult gauge. Maximum points, 127, and we probably should have gotten more. We have double protection gauge. Like, this is a crazy hand right here. Let's go ahead and send it. I mean, he is guarding a lot, so it does kind of nerf our damage down, but both of them have extra defense, so it's not going to look as pretty as it would. But you understand the power of, Rimuru's both skills, and they only cost 15 points, right? They're super cheap. And on the Cabby team, like, once you get going, you're not hurting for points. Like, you're just not. So right here, we're going to pop Cabby twice, because we can, I guess. There's no real issue here. And then we're going to defense lower and crit boost, and we'll rewind for fun, because why not? So we'll send Rimuru single target, we'll send the hero, we'll send Hakuro, and then we'll send these two, even though they're nerfed as well. Will we kill here? I don't know, but that wasn't really the point of this particular showcase. We were here to showcase the greens, right? So the hero, 13.5. Hakuro might kill here? Okay, he does kill. Alright, so 25-9. So that's a showcase of the win team working with extra buffs to greens, because we already knew the win team worked really well by itself. This is just another piece of the pie. that supports the team. Like, I could have put Butler Veldora in there, I could have put Space Rimuru in there, like, there are a couple of units I could slot in fine. But Rimuru, both of the skills only cost 30 combined. Rimuru costs 55 by himself on one skill. So, what would I rather take? I'd rather take the cheaper skills. It opens up a lot more possibilities for me. But let's move on now to the third team that really runs on greens right now, and that is the water team. So I'll see you guys shortly. Alright, this is the team that we're going to use to show off Rimuru's skills on the water team. Chloe, obviously, orb changes to greens, right? She changes oranges to greens, which isn't... It's exactly what Xion and Rimuru both do, but they both do other things on top of their single orb changes, and again, it's really cheap. Alice is here to orb change for the blues that we get, and also gives us Pierce, which, you know, will work with Xion, boosting her Pierce, and then Rimuru decreasing Pierce resistance. Again, he replaces Ranga, but I believe he actually kind of slots in a little better, one being single target, two having a skill that's cheaper to use than Ranga's Pierce resistance down. And his second skill is pretty useful. Or, well, his first skill is useful on top of the second skill, unlike Ranga's, whose isn't really that great. And then we have Velzard and Raphael in the back. Velzard for the DPS, Raphael for the other DPS and the defense down, and his own Pierce up. So, this team, I believe, should run well. I haven't used it yet, but we're going to go into Crucible 85 just to get an example of it, because, like, going into Ifrit, this is not the team I want to use, right? This is not the team that I want to use for Ifrit. So let's try it out. If we can get like two protector gauges for Chloe and get our points maxed up to 180, we would look pretty good. I don't know if he's gonna live that long though, so we'll just have to play it by ear. We did get notification earlier today that Jubilee Blitz is coming tomorrow. Oh, okay. I guess we'll just do this for now. Okay, well, sure. We'll go ahead and send it. And we'll get Velzard's ult right off the bat, so that's cool. We can just store her in the back for now. Alright, oh, that was a lot of damage we did. And not a lot of time. Okay, so Velzard. So there's the trait for Rimuru activating, so now we have Chloe to... for the protector gauge. Unfortunately, if I swap Velzard out, we're going to pull in another blue, which we can only change 2 right now. So we're just going to have to burn some cards for a little bit. Let's go ahead and bring her in anyways, and we'll burn some blues just to get them out of our hand. And then next turn, we'll orb change with Chloe and use the Rimuru boosts. Okay, so that worked out pretty well right there. So let's orb change with Chloe, and then let's go ahead and boost this up and boost that up. So, okay, perfect. Alright, and then we'll bring in Raphael for Chloe as well. Cool. Go ahead and, or Raphael for Alice, and then we'll use Chloe's Protector skill. Get that final green change, and now we have skill point increase by 4.6% forever. That's from Xion, I think? Yeah. And then skill point increase by 20%, turned remaining 1, and then damage increase 15%. That might actually not actually be from Xion, but that might be from Alice. Either way. Okay, so let's go ahead and send that, and... You know, not as much alt gauge as I would have liked to see on Raphael, having, you know, 3 cards. But it is what it is. Let's see how much damage these greens do, though. So, guard, okay, 33, 43, 43, and this 200% hit. Raphael's 88 with no awakened gear, 9,000 damage. Okay. It's... Oh. Oh. Huh. I can't really... yeah. That's something, isn't it? Sure. I mean, this works out. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some more alt gauge, right? Okay, yeah, okay, Raphael skill point increase, damage, and then this, this is the alt gauge, right? So we didn't actually activate this one before. So we probably would have gotten Raphael's alt had we used the Pierce Resistance down, but I don't want to use that quite yet because obviously we're going to get alts next turn. So let's go ahead and get skill point increase, and I think that will do it. What's this one do? That's a permanent increase as well. Okay. Yeah, why not? This should get us more than enough, right? So, Raphael, or Rimuru, Xion. Okay, 93 points that we're getting back, so 153. Will that be enough to use everything? We need 110 for the Pierce and the defense down. Yeah, that should be a decent amount right there. Okay, that's fine. Ooh, actually, maybe we won't have enough? Ooh, Xion, you took a hit there, my lady. What is with these hands, man? Okay, so we use that, and we use the 55. Okay, that's not going to leave us a lot of points. So we have to stall one more turn for this, this alt, which I think will work out. Okay, so 173. Definitely have enough now. I want to see how much Velzard can do right here. Like, obviously she's going to do good damage. Alright, so Velzard in for... Actually, let's go ahead and pop the defense down. So we don't have an ult for Raphael, but that's fine. 44% defense down, because I haven't maxed the skill out. And then we'll bring in Velzard for Raphael. Alright. Hold on. 1 second. Sorry, I have to take care of a wayward cat. Alright. And then I think we'll bring in Xion instead. No, we'll use Rimuru. It's a showcase. What am I talking about? Okay, so Pierce right up. Pierce resistance down. Attack up. Pierce power up. Frostbite. Okay? So let's go ahead and send Rimuru first on the off chance that he doesn't die. And then maybe Velzard can come clean up. But I'm fairly confident that we kill here. Just with Rimuru. He does... Oh, 23 too. We did not kill. Alright, how much does Velzard do now? Let's go ahead and just take a look at... 66k. That looks a little better. Okay. Yeah, Rimuru doesn't have an attack skill up, right? He's only reducing defense, and he's not giving himself pierce or attack. He's reducing pierce resistance, so he's not giving himself any like major attack boosts like Velzard and Xion do. So he will hit less, but he does enable people to hit harder, and having 2 skills at 15 makes actually a huge load of difference on it. Like when you're really hurting for skill points. But I think I will call the showcase there. We will take him into Tempered Edge for his own video on the light team, and we will showcase how well he does in there separately. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts on this new Bridegroom Slime Rimuru. How good do you think his kit is? Oh, he had okay, he had Gazel's sword. Okay, whatever. But, I mean, overall, after the showcase, after a day of testing and using him, he is a very, very good unit. He can slot into a lot of different teams. He fulfills the same role that Carrion does on the space team. People like to underrate Carrion, myself sometimes included, but the impact that he has when you do put him on the team is very noticeable. So, again, if you don't have the new light team that's running on the Pierce that's going to give each other Pierce, you don't need to summon for this unit. Like, you just don't. If you don't have Shion Shizu, there's no real point to run Rimuru. by himself even. I mean, yeah, you could help him as a support, but if you don't have those teams set either, he's kind of just a filler. But then again, if you do have Shion and Shizu and you want to get as much power as you can out of that team, he's a very solid option. And he's not, I wouldn't be ashamed to summon for him if you have Shion and Shizu. But again, we have another week, probably from today, the 7th of recording this, before the next unit comes out, and wait and see what that one does, and then make your decision. Probably that unit's going to be just as good or better. Probably better if history serves any knowledge. But again, that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you later.